Not exactly the past tense. Of course, it's past tense only. Yeah. How is it different of how Lord plays with these energy with these energies? Okay. Okay. Sorry, I already answered maybe. Yeah, Shika Mataji.
Prabhuji, mercy for the Lord's services, for my execution for your instruction without pride and bondages.
Yeah, that was the fourth question. Yes, thank you, thank you. Yes, that was the fourth question. Please instruct me how to execute my duties without pride. The third question was about how he plays the pastimes. Definitely, it relates to pastimes of the Lord. But when you are asking a question, he asked the question that how you play with these energies. Purna Nabhir. So that was the just like a Purna Nabhi, the spider, how it plays. Like that Lord plays with these two energies, Yogamaya and Mahamaya. So that was the answer. But he asked about how you play with these energies and please instruct me. These are the four questions and we are seeing the answers. Also, the technical terms were given by Lord himself in the first verse of his speaking to Brahmaji. Anyone remembers the four terms that Lord uses to answer all these questions? The seed verse of the Chaturshloki. Four terms are explained in four verses. Anyone? The first verse of the Lord, he says to Brahmaji that, yeah, somebody raised hand. Okay, Chkamataji.
Prabhuji, Jnanam,
Yeah, Jnanam.
Vijnanam,
Correct.
then
Correct. Yeah.
Rahasyam,
Sarahasyam.
then Tad Angam.
Yeah, Tadangam. Okay, thank you. So Lord answered, they indicated the seed verse that how he is going to answer all the four questions. Jnanam paramaguhyam me yadvijnanam samanvitam tadarasyam tatangam cha grahana gaditam maya. So I am giving to you grahana gaditam maya. I am speaking. So you please take Jnanam paramaguhyam me, that confidential knowledge I will give you. So this we discussed. Of course, you have to maybe you have to go through once again. This for Chaturshloki is a little bit technical, definitely. But if you go through, glance through at least the summary section, then you'll be able to grasp the key elements, key points, and keywords. So you exactly understand what is spoken in the Chaturshloki. So Jnanam, as we understood that this is referring to the form of the Lord, Jnanam. And Jnanam, Vijnanam, as I showed the one PPT. Okay, let us see once again the PPT. Maybe you will remember again everything. So this Jnanam and Vijnanam are kept as a part of a Sambandha Jnana, Sambandha. The Sambandha Vidya Prayojan. These four verses are divided into Sambandha Vidya and Prayojan by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself in Chaitanya Charitamrita. It comes twice in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So the whole Vedas itself talk about these three subject matters. As per Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu speaking to Varanasi, Prakasham Saraswati Brahmana and his disciples. So during that conversation, he spoke these four verses. He explained thoroughly how it is referring to personality of Supreme Lord, not impersonal Brahman. And that's how he explained in terms of Sambandha, Prayojana and Avideya. So that is the answer given. I'll just share the document. So that's how the Sambandha, Avideya and Prayojan. So Jnanam and Vijnanam are considered Sambandha Jnana. What are your spiritual and material forms? Para and Apara. Sorry. para and apara rupas. So what are that? That was the question, and it is the forms. The supreme form of the Lord is spoken in 31st verse. Jnanam we discussed. Ahameva sameva agre nanyat sadasat param. So that was spoken in the 31st verse. And Vijnanam. Now today we will see the Vijnanam part. Vijnanam, the same knowledge is spoken in a different way. Anvaya and Vyatireka. Now Lord will he explained about himself, the true nature of his personality in the first verse. And he speaks about his energies only. So when we understand both together, then that comprises complete knowledge. When you know something from one point of view, Anvaya point of view, and Vyatireka in a different way, how it is not, or what it is something else. Let us suppose if you want to understand milk, if you see milk, okay, milk has particular characteristics. It is liquid in state, it is white in color, it has some consistency or some fluidity. So in this way, we understand certain characteristics. But what it is not also we need to understand in order to distinguish clearly. So if you see some lime water may also appear to be whitish. But by consistency and by order or by different characteristics, we make it distinguish from the milk. So what it is and what is not. So by this we can understand complete nature of any particular thing. So that's how these two verses are explained, Jnanam and Vijnanam, about the personality of God. The supreme form is explained in Jnanam, the absolute personality, his form, how he is existing. And the nature of his energies are explained to contrast him. What are his energies are explained. So by these two, we'll understand his complete. We can understand his complete personality. Sambandha Gyan. So that is Sambandha Gyan. And how he plays with his energies. That is spoken in 35 verse Rahasyam. That is called Prema Bhakti, the Prayojan. How he enters into everything, at he is remain, at he is completely outside of the he is completely, he is manifested beyond this temporary material nature also. At the same time, he is existing within this universe also. The transcendence and immanence. Immanence means how he is entering into this material world. Transcendence means how he is beyond this material world. So like that, he is explaining about his rahasyam. That is prema bhakti as per acharyas. It's the prayojana. How we need to see him in everything. So after that, then he explains how to achieve to that stage. This is part of the same thing, but it's called sadhana bhakti, abhideya, the process. As per Brahmaji asked, please instruct me how I can serve. So he's imparting the devotional process to achieve the prayojana. So Brahmaji is inquiring all this also for all of us in terms of, because we are having so many desires to fulfill, then Brahmaji is trying to create different facilities to fulfill our desires, and then at the same time he is giving an opportunity to return back to him, to return back to especially Supreme Lord, how we can return. So that's one of the main concern of Brahmaji also. We will come to that kind of a conversation. Brahma only mentions why they are living here, they have to suffer. I mean, how they can get rid of all the suffering. So this conversation will come in third canto. So that is also Brahmaji's concern, how all the living entities will be delivered. So for that also, these are all given as a solution, that they have to practice devotional service, and by that they will they can achieve the topmost platform, Prem Bhakti. So that's how these 4 verses are explained by Lord himself. Okay, we'll see. We'll continue with our conversation from. Okay, we'll read the summary by Srila Prabhupada from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Please read the summary.
Chatushloki Bhagavatam summary. From this CC Adi 1.56 and the preceding 3 verses of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, which have been selected from Srimad Bhagavatam, the missionary activities of Lord Chaitanya can be understood. Srimad Bhagavatam has 18,000 verses, which are summarized in the 4 verses beginning with Aham Eva Sam Eva Gre 33 and concluding with Yat Syat Sarvatra Sarvata 36. Sambandha Srimad Bhagavatam 2.9.33 to 34. In the first of these verses, the transcendental nature of Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is explained. The second verse 34 further explains that the Lord is detached from the workings of the material energy, Maya. The living entities, although parts and parcels of Lord Krishna, are prone to be controlled by the external energy. Therefore, although they are spiritual, in the material world, they are encased in bodies of material energy. The eternal relationship of the living entities with the Supreme Lord is explained in that verse. Prayojan 2.9.35. The next verse 35 instructs that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by his inconceivable energies, is simultaneously one with and different from the living entities and the material energy. This knowledge is called Achintya Bhedabhed Tattva. When an individual living entity surrenders to the Supreme Lord Krishna, he can then develop natural transcendental love for him. This surrendering process should be the primary concern of a human being. Abhideya 2.9.36. In the next verse 36, it is said that the conditioned soul must ultimately approach a bona fide spiritual master and try to understand perfectly the material and spiritual worlds and his own existential position.
Yeah.
Verses 38 to 46.
Yeah. No, thank you. We'll continue with our discussion. So these are the 4 verses. Prabhupada himself wrote summary in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So as we discussed last time, Sambandha we are discussing, and the 33rd verse explained the transcendental nature of Lord Krishna. Aham eva sameva agre, nanyat sadasat param, paschadaham yadetacha, yovashisheta sosmiham. So before manifestation of even material energy, not material energy, material manifestation. Material energy, energies are always with Krishna because they don't have any kind of cessation. Lord and Lord energies are eternal. Energies are always with him. But their manifestations, especially the material manifestation, is temporary in that sense, in one sense. But in a repeated sense also, it is also eternal. Like material worlds keep on coming and merging into Lord, keep on coming, again going, again coming. So the process itself keep on going on. That in that sense, if you take in a scale level, lengthy scale level, then there also can be said they are eternal in one sense, material manifestations. But the material energy, all the elements itself, they are with the Lord in the unmanifested state, with the Lord always. We have seen that personality, how he is existing before the creation. So this is in reference to material creation. So we always see anything from a reference point of view. So here the reference point is kept as the material creation manifestation, Karana Sai Vishnu. So from his point of view, so nothing is yet manifested or created, but all the universes are dissolved, prakritik pralaya, as we discussed. So that was the state the discussion is going on. So that at the time he is only existing. Aham eva sameva agre. Of course, we have seen what it means that he alone exists. Doesn't mean that he is existing alone, just like a king. When we say his king is going means that his all entourage is going with him. That is means even all the spiritual worlds are manifested. They are not at all annihilated. The eternal spiritual world is existing. So Krishna is not alone. Supreme Lord is not alone in that sense. Because the word singular word is used. Aham meva sameva. Aham means it's only one person. It's singular. Because it's singular, it doesn't mean that he is alone existing. That's the meaning given by Acharyas. He is not just alone. He has his own entourage. He has his own family. Tripad Vibhuti, as we discussed. And also one more facet of the same aham. So whether they are also just existing like that, many planets and many universes in the spiritual world. No, many activities are also going on. For that, another analogy used by Acharyas is that if we say that a king is not present in the assembly, that means that he is somewhere else with his family, with his intimate relatives. So similarly, Supreme Lord is not doing any work in the material world, in the sense that he is not creating or is not doing any kind of incarnations in this material world. Doesn't mean that he is not at all doing anything. No, he is doing some wonderful pastimes in the spiritual world with spiritual energy. So that these are the main points from the first text. Ahameva sameva agre nanyat satasat param. Of course, different acharyas has different explanation in terms of taking different meanings. So maybe it becomes quite difficult and also complex when we too much. Of course, if we can read and we can analyze also for understanding purpose, but they have their own facets of giving meanings. So definitely, if you have time and patience and interest, you can definitely go through all these wonderful explanations, Srila Swami and Krishna Consciousness and many acharyas, Bhaktivedanta Thakur, etc. But the Prabhupada, what we are reading, mainly Prabhupada and one or two points from acharyas, Krishna Consciousness, Thakur, etc. So as Nanyat Satasat Param, yeah, he is existing. So this verse explains that para and apara rupas. Yadiyatacha, that explains that how he is taken form of Virat Rupa, apara Rupa, the material form, when he is created this universe. Before creation, he was there. And after creation, he entered into creation and took the form of apara Rupa also. At the same time, he took the form of Paramatma. He took the role of avatar also. He took the forms of different avatars who incarnate. So these are the both para and apara will exist during creation. Right? Pararupas are avatars and Paramatma. And Apararupa is the Virat Rupa or material manifestation in the form of creation, Virat Rupa. And after the annihilation again, Pararupa only exists, the supreme form exists only. So this is the first verse that Jnanam refers to, the form of the Lord. Now the second verse is about Vijnana, especially Lord's energies. We want to have realization. It means both energies and the Lord Himself. When we understand, then it's complete understanding. That's Vijnana. So that is about His energies. As Prabhupada mentions here, that he's talking about energies, both Maya and Yoga Maya. Generally, we say Maya in terms of many times Maya. Generally, a connotation is that we take it as a negative term. Maya. We say that he is in Maya. So one time in a class, there was a question answer session, and one Mataji raised hand, and there was a question that there is a complaint from that Mataji that even in temple there is Maya. So Prabhupada was giving class, and after that she asked the question. We find even in temple there is Maya. Then Prabhupada answers that, okay, let me know a place where there is no Maya. We shall all go there. Combinedly, we will all go there. So that's how Prabhupada is very spontaneous at the same time, very practical. Sometimes it's quite critical. So Prabhupada is saying that, oh, let me know any place in this universe where there is no Maya. We'll all go there. So then he explained also. He didn't just stop there. Then he explained, okay, temple is in definitely this material world. Maya will be everywhere, every nook and corner, because this is her place. Material energy, Mother Parvati, her domain. But still, those who surrender to Krishna, then they will be Devi Hesha Gunamai Maya Taratyaya Mame Prapadyanti Maya Metam Tarante. So wherever there is surrender to Krishna, there is no question of Maya. That's what Prabhupada explains to that question about Maya. So yeah, Maya is everywhere. Maya is, because we use Maya, the term, in a different ways. So it's here it's a negative term, what we said Maya, illusion. We'll discuss about this illusion and illusory energy. The verse is about that only. Lord's energies, Maya and Yoga Maya. So Maya generally we mean Mahamaya, which makes the conditioned soul bind, which binds the conditioned souls to this material cycle of birth and death, misery and happiness and misery, sufferings and pleasures and pains. Why she does? We have read in Bhakti Shastri, chapter 5, 3 doers. Why does living entity desires and Lord sanctions under the purview of under the superintendence of the Lord? Maya facilitates our own desires to fulfill. So that Maya is explained in this verse is energy, both Mahamaya and Yoga Maya. Especially these two are revealing in this verse both Maya and Yoga Maya potencies. We will see them. Prabhupada explains here that the living entities, all the parts and parcels of Krishna, are prone to controlled by external energy. Therefore, although they are spiritual and material, they are spiritual. In the material world, they are encased in the body of the material energy. The eternal relationship of the living entities with Supreme Lord is explained in that verse. How we are related to the Lord. So that is explained especially in terms of Maya, in terms of explanation of Lord's energies. So that was the second question also. How your energies are working, are manifesting and working. How they are manifested, how they are working. So that is the 34. And 35 is the Rahasyam. Another way is the Prayojan. Rahasyam is the devotional service. Rahasyam is the devotional service in terms of Prema Bhakti, the love of God. That's why Prabhupada says he can then develop natural transcendental love for him by surrendering. By surrendering, one can develop that love, which is the prime concern for human being. So that is a Prayojan. Okay, we will go to the verse now. Mostly we'll try to complete these two today. Sure. Text 30. Text 34. Riteyardam yat pratiyeta na pratiyeta chatmani tadvidyadatmano mayam Yatha bhaso yatha tamaha. Okay, please read the translation.
Yes. Hare Krishna. O Brahma, whatever appears to be of any value, if it is without relation to me, has no reality. Know it as my illusory energy, that reflection which appears to be in darkness. Summary of the
Okay.
previous. Okay.
Yeah, we'll just wait 1 minute. So, I just 1 minute. So here, main point is that whatever appears to be of any value here in this material world, if you are disconnecting from Krishna, then it has no reality. That will be illusion. That is the function of illusory energy. The moment we see anything disconnected from Krishna, then we will be put under illusion. So know it as my illusory energy, that reflection which appears to be in darkness. So in darkness means that we are disconnected from Krishna. We are not seeing the connection to Krishna. Then that reflection or anything that we see in this without connection with Krishna and also only for my enjoyment, then it is illusion. Then it is considered a illusion. So here I just wanted to show some diagram. Maybe I think here I am unable to share some. I need to stop share. Share screen. Okay. So I wanted to write something, but my pad is not working. Okay, anyway. So here the Jagat, here three things are there. Jagat, Jagadish, and Jiva. These three things are generally discussed in the philosophical sections, especially Upanishads. These three things are mentioned. Jiva, Jagat, and Jagadish. So these three, we understand the philosophy, especially from this perspective. These three items in connection with these three. Anything, especially philosophy, all the philosophies. Anyone talking about philosophy, they talk about these three: Jeev, Jagat, and Jagadish. Jagadish is Supreme Lord Himself. Jiva is a living entity. Jagat is Jagat, the whole world, whole material world. So these three are considered. So their interrelationship and their existence and their workings are discussed in all the Upanishads and Vedas. Mainly these three subject matters only will be discussed. So from Mayavadi point of view, what is Maya? From Mayavadi's point of view, all three are Maya. Jagadish is Maya, Jiva is Maya, and Jagat. This is also Maya. What is Satyam? Only Brahman Satyam. Brahma Satya, Jagan Mithya. Because Jagadish, when you say Jagadish, that means you are ascribing some form to him. So it's a personality. So though he is a supreme personality, but still, for Mayavadi's point of view, because he has a form, then it has to be illusion. So only Brahman is the ultimate thing for them. Impersonal Brahman. So for them, these three, Jagat, Jagadish, and Jiva, are all illusion. But from Vaishnava point of view, we see that how Jagadish, the Purushottam, the Supreme Personality, Purushottam, he is the personality different from Jiva and Jagat. But he has a relationship with this. These three have relationships. That's the main point. So now, when we see the Jiva and Jagat, both the living entity and the material energy, when we don't see any connection with Jagadish, then that is called illusion. So that's what the main point of this verse. The moment we see without relation to me, that's the main point here. If we see Jiva and Jagat without any connection with Krishna or the Jagadish, then that is called Maya. Then that is illusion. That is the main thing that is explained in this verse. So without any connection, the moment we see, just like Ravana, now it's a flavor of Sri Ram, Jai Sri Ram. It will continue, let it continue maybe eternally, but at least currently that's the main talk of all the people of the India especially. So about Sri Ram. So in the story of Ramayana, Ravana, Sita, and Ram, these three are the main characters, personalities, definitely. So Ravana is seeing Sita not in connection with Lord Ram. Though Sita is a fact, of course, we are just trying to understand from the philosophical point of view also. Sita is a fact. Mother Sita, goddess of fortune, is fact. But the moment Ravana is seeing not in connection with Ram, then he wanted to enjoy for himself. So he is not seeing in connection with Lord Ram, but he wanted to enjoy himself. Then that is illusion. That's Maya. Especially from point of view of Ravana, I am saying. So the moment we disconnect energy from the energetic, the Supreme Lord, and same time we want to enjoy that energy, then we are under illusion. We will be put under illusion. Then further things happen. Lamentation, suffering, hankering, disease, everything. Automatically concomitant factors will follow all the consequences of trying to enjoy separate from Krishna. Okay, please read now.
Summary of the previous verse. In the previous verse, it has already been concluded that in any stage of the cosmic manifestation, its appearance, its sustenance, and its growth, its interaction of different energies, its deterioration, and its disappearances all has its basic relation with the existence of the personality of Godhead. Summary.
Yeah, so, yeah, please continue. That is the first verse summarized by Prabhupada. Continue.
Yeah. Summary of the current verse. And as such, whenever there is forgetfulness of this prime relation with the Lord, and whenever things are accepted as real without being related to the Lord, the conception is called a product of the illusory energy of the Lord, because nothing can exist without the Lord. It should be known that the illusory energy is also the energy of the Lord. The right conclusion of dovetailing everything in relation with the Lord is called Yogamaya, or the energy of union, and the wrong conception of detaching a thing from its relationship with the Lord is called Lord's Daivi Maya or Mahamaya. Both the Mayas also have connection with the Lord because nothing can exist without being related to Him.
Yeah. So Prabhupada explains. 1 minute. So here Prabhupada summarizing this verse as I discussed that right conclusion of doubt telling everything in relationship with the Lord is called Yogamaya. So that is called when we connect, because the Jiva is a fact, the Jagat is a fact, because the material energy, material elements are factual. They are because they are coming from the Supreme Lord. They are factual. They are not illusion. Nor Jiva is illusion. And Jagadish, the Supreme Lord himself is not illusion. Everything, all three are facts. But the moment I try to utilize everything in relationship with the Lord, then that is the right conclusion. And the right conclusion in the sense that that is the right position of using everything in relationship with the Supreme Lord.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji is disconnected. Huh?
Yes, no voice is coming.
I think he is sharing screen. Yeah, Prabhuji got disconnected.
Sorry, my connection was lost. So when there is no connection, then there is no reality. Okay. So till what point you heard the discussion? Same this point only? And it's true.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So yeah, Prabhupada using very particular terms, conclusion and conception. The wrong conception is generally in the mind itself. It's not fact. The jiva is a fact and material energy is a fact. But the moment I have a conception that this is for my enjoyment, that is the internal conception. So that internal conception makes everything illusory. They are not illusion, they are illusory. Illusory is different from illusion. That Prabhupada explains later in the coming section, that how it's just a illusory appearance only. They are not illusion. The whole energy, material energy, is we need to see in connection with Krishna. That is the main point. Of course, these are all basic facts, and we all know about these points. But these verses explain more in detail how, if they are not connected to Krishna, how we are seeing in relation, not in connection with Krishna, then how they are illusory. Yeah, please read, continue.
Illusory, illus, uh, illusory is different from illusion about inferior energy, the material world. As such, the wrong conception of detaching relationships from the Lord is not false but illusory. Misconceiving one thing from another thing is called illusion. For example, accepting a rope as a snake is illusion. But the rope is not false. The rope as it exists in front of illusion person is not at all false, but accepting it as a snake is illusory. Therefore, the material manifestation is not false, but the wrong conception of accepting the material manifestation as being divorced from the energy of the Lord is illusion, and this illusory conception is called the reflection of the reality in the darkness of ignorance. Anything that appears not to be produced out of my energy is called Maya.
So, Prabhupada explains here the famous analogy of rope and snake. Rope and snake analogy you might have definitely heard many times. Just trying to. Let me see once more. I'll just check the sharing of one more document. Okay, sorry. It's anyway. Let it be. Maybe next time I'll because explaining that concept by writing it will be more easy. Otherwise, it becomes quite complex to immediately show. But let me try. So here, how the concept is explained here. In the light, the whole verse explaining, whole verse is given understanding that how in the daylight, let us suppose there is a daylight illumination. Let us suppose there is a pot in a room. In the daylight, we can see it. We can see it clearly, right? And we don't see any kind of any other objects which make us fear, like snakes or scorpions, etc. Because it's completely illuminated. Let us suppose in the darkness, when there is night, when light is taken away, the pot exists, right? Because the pot is already there. It doesn't vanishes in the darkness. But we are unable to see because it's dark. So the pot is existing, but we are unable to see it. And now the other objects which are not present may start appearing because of the darkness. Though there are snakes and scorpions are not there in the room, but they may start appearing because of our illusion, because of the darkness. So in the darkness, some things just like here, the rope and snake example is a rope is given, rope and snake. So when the rope is there, in the light it's seen as rope only. But when you take light out, then the rope may appear to be a snake, which is the real cause of fear. So that because of darkness, the rope appears to be a snake, which makes us fear. So this is also conditioned stage and liberated stage. So in the liberated stage, in the sense that its illumination is there, then we can see things as they are. Like what is there, what is there. Otherwise, no other objects are existing. Similarly, in the conditioned stage, we perceive those things which are not present at all. Though snake is a fact and rope is a fact, material world is a fact, and the Supreme Lord is a fact, and the Jiva is a fact, right? But still, when somebody is in illusion, in the sense that this is for my enjoyment, then without seeing connection with Krishna, then that makes all concomitant factors like illusion, then trying to be hankering after that, then the suffering, lamentation, then suffering. All this keeps on rotating in cycle. So that we need to be cautious about. That's the main point here explained by Prabhupada, that we are trying to accept the rope as a snake is illusion. This is, we are trying to disconnect the Lord from the thing itself in illusion, in darkness. So that's what the main point, that the wrong conception of accepting material manifestation as being diverged from energy of the Lord is illusion. Anything that appears not to be produced out of my energy is called Maya. Then Prabhupada explains about, now it's inferior energy is explained, how it is connected with him, and if we disconnect with him, how it will act as an illusion for us. Then in illusion, we all do many other things, trying to enjoy, trying to be in a superior position, trying to control it, trying to become proprietor of any particular energy items. Then the further things happen. This is about inferior energy. Now, what about superior energy? Prabhupada explains. Please read.
What about superior energy? The conception that the living entity is formless or that the Supreme Lord is formless is also an illusion. BG
Continue.
references. Bhagavad
Continue.
Yeah. Bhagavad Gita references. In the Bhagavad Gita 2.12, it was said by the Lord in the midst of the battlefield that the warriors standing in front of Arjuna himself, and even the Lord had all existed before. They were existing on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and they would all continue to be individual personalities in the future also. Even after the annihilation of the personal present body, and even after being liberated from the bondage of material existence. In all circumstances, the Lord and the living entities are individual personalities, and the personal feature of both the Lord and the living beings are never abolished. Only the influence of the illusory energy, the reflection of light in the darkness, can, by the mercy of the Lord, be removed. In the material world, the light of the sun is also not independent, nor is that of moon. The real source of light is the Brahmajyoti, which diffuses light from the transcendental body of the Lord. And the same light is reflected in varieties of the light of the sun, the light of the moon, the light of the fire, or the light of the electricity. So the identity of the self as being unconnected with the Supreme Self. So the Supreme Self, the Lord, is also illusion, and the false claim, I am the Supreme, is the last illusory snare of the same Maya, or the external energy of the Lord.
So here, so the same point that now inferior energy, Prabhupada explained, though it is a fact, the Jagat is a fact, but because by seeing it is disconnected from Krishna, then it appears to be an enjoyable object for me, then that is illusion. Or if it disconnected from Krishna itself directly, then it appears to be an illusion, just like rope is appearing as a snake. So that's about Jagat, how we need to see in connection with Krishna and the Jagat. So that is about inferior energy. Now it's superior energy, both the living entity and the Krishna, both are superior energy only. The living entity and Supreme Lord, because they are spirit in nature. They are superior energy. But living entity is considered marginal energy because it has the tendency to come under the subjugation of inferior energy. But these two are also not illusion. That's what Prabhupada's main point here. It's the conception that living entity is formless and the Supreme Lord is formless is illusion. Rather, they are facts in opposite terms. They are both are facts existing. That's what Prabhupada quoted this verse. Everyone is existing. Not what is that verse? Image and Bada. Yeah, Krishna says that all these kings and all these people in the world in this war. So that's how they continue the individual personality. They are not illusion, basically. That's the main point Prabhupada is conveying, that not only inferior energy is a fact, and both superior energies, living entities and Supreme Lord are also fact. That's the main point Prabhupada conveying through Bhagavad Gita reference. And then here explaining about this illusory nature, in the sense that when we start identifying with ourselves, with the body, are disconnected from Krishna, then everything appears to be illusion. That's the main point here. Giving example of the sun, light of sun is explaining. Nothing is independent. Here the light of the sun is also not independent, the moon, everything is dependent. So the identity of the self as being unconnected with Supreme Self, the Lord, is also illusion. The false claim I am supreme is also last illusory snare of the same Maya, externality of the Lord. So this Maya, the energy acts like that, based on the desire of the living entity. This external energy of the Lord makes us believe that we are the controller, we are the enjoyer, and we are the proprietor. And it makes it makes us disconnected from the Lord. And also it doesn't show the relation between the Jagat and Jagadish. So how to, of course, the solution definitely then one can ask that how we can see the relation. How we see the relation? We see the relation by gaining knowledge. The gaining knowledge, tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. By approaching the spiritual master, Prabhupada also mentions in the next verses that how one need to approach spiritual master to gain the knowledge. By that knowledge, what will happen? The next verse speaks that yajnatva na punarmoham evam yashasi pandava. So Krishna explains that by gaining this knowledge from the realized souls, you will see everything in connection with me. So that's the realization of knowledge. The fact that we are gaining knowledge means, as we discussed maybe in in the previous 18th or 19th chapter of first canto, that was the proof that we are gaining knowledge means that we need to see everything in connection with Krishna. So when we see in connection with Krishna, that means we are progressing in spiritual life more and more. I'm just sharing the document. We'll just go through the verse again. Yajnatva na punarmoham evam yashasi pandava yena bhutyan asheshani trakshasyaatmani athomayi. Not only having obtained real knowledge from a self-realized soul, you will never again fall or never fall again into such illusion. For by this knowledge, you will see that all living beings are but part of the Supreme, or in other words, that they are mine. So it applies to both. Maya dakshina prakritim suyate sacharacharam. So both it applies to living entities and also Jiva and Jagat also. We will be able to see everything in connection with Krishna, not only Jivas here, what is spoken in this verse, but also even the material world itself, all the elements itself are the expansions of Krishna himself. So that's how we gain understanding by gaining knowledge, by hearing the self-realized souls, by hearing from them. Okay, that's Prabhupada explaining. Till now we understood that how the Maya acts when we start seeing everything disconnected from the Supreme Lord, disconnected the Jagat, or disconnecting other living entities also. That's the main point. That's Prabhupada explained. Okay, here also Prabhupada bringing out references from the Vedanta Sutra, saying that nothing has any existence without connection with Supreme Lord. None of them has any existence without being dovetailed to Supreme Lord. Because they have connection, they should be dovetailed to in the service of the Lord. Yeah. Okay, now then there is no, we are saying that here till now we are saying that there is a connection with the Supreme Lord. everything, Jiva, Jagat, and Jagadish. But now, how to understand the independence of the Jivas? Because now we don't see any connection. We have forgot everything. Everything in the sense we forgot the Lord and we are trying to be on our own. How we understand that independence? Please read. Prabhupada explains that one.
The independence of the individual living entity is not real independence, but is just the reflection of the real independence existing in the Supreme Being, the Lord. The false claim of supreme independence by the conditioned souls is illusion, and this conclusion is stated in this verse.
So they are not independent. Though we are trying to act independently here, but still we are not at all independent. The false claim of supreme independence. Prabhupada quotes that supreme independence takes the form of a jnani, thinking that I am the Supreme Lord himself. So to that extent also this false claim will go. Prabhupada many times explains the last snare of Maya is thinking that I am the Supreme, like that. So Prabhupada is saying nothing can act independently, nothing can work independently. Either the cosmos or our gross body or the subtle body. So then Prabhupada explains how these three, how they are not at all working independently of the Lord. They are dependent. Everything is dependent on the Supreme Lord. Glaring reflection of the sun, moon, electricity. So they're all dependent on the Supreme Lord. And the study of the gross body, even from medical practitioners' point of view, Prabhupada saying the medical practitioner may deny existence of the soul in the physiological bodily construction of an individual person, but he cannot give life to a dead body, even though all the mechanisms of the body exist even after death. So how it means that they are not independent survivor, giving the survival, giving life to the dead body. They are not all independent in that creation. So that's how Prabhupada explaining that the medical practitioners can't give life to the dead body. That means they are dependent. They are dependent on many other things which are beyond them. Then the psychological body also, subtle body. Prabhupada explains about psychologists, how they are trying to study the mind, which is not seen at all. No one has seen the mind, but still we are trying to understand the construction of the mind and studying the mind. But in dead body, they cannot bring the mind back. Please read the highlight portion.
These scientific studies of the cosmic manifestation or the bodily construction independent of the Supreme Lord are different reflective intellectual gymnastics only, but at the end they are all illusion and nothing more.
So either the cosmos, Jagat, or the Jiva with the conditioned body, both gross and subtle body, they are not at all independent. But if one is thinking that they are independent, then they are reflective, they are abhas, they are seeing only illusion. They are illusion, nothing more. That's the act of illusory energy. So then how these are all acting? Prabhupada explains by this two covering potencies, two phases of illusory energy. That's what Prabhupada builds the topic. How this energy actually acts. Now we talked about how we should not see the disconnection. Rather, we should see the connection between everything. With the Lord, then there is a reality. Otherwise, it's illusion. Then how this illusion is acting, then Prabhupada is explaining in technical terms. Two technical terms he is using. Please read the illusory energy.
The illusory energy has two phases of existence, namely the covering influence and the throwing influence. By the throwing influence, the illusory energy throws the living entities into the darkness of ignorance, and by the covering influence, she covers the eyes of men possessing a poor fund of knowledge about the existence of the Supreme Person who enlightened the Supreme Individual Living Being Brahma.
So yeah, thank you. So here Prabhupada is mentioning that though we are very much advanced materially. That's what till now he's talking about. The cosmos, the gross body and subtle body, scientists and medical practitioners, all they are proclaiming themselves very advanced. But still we are completely dependent. We don't have any independent control or the reactions in the body, in the creation also. So how these are acting? These are explained in two terms. That's called Prakshepatmika Shakti and Avaranatmika Shakti. Prabhupada many times uses these two terms. These are two ways of functioning of illusion and Jimaya. Two phases. One is covering potency, Avaranatmika Shakti, and then there is a Prakshepatmika Shakti, throwing influence. Of course, everything based on the desire only. It is based on the desire of the living entity. Then the energy throws, just like going into a theater. We all have, I mean, some of you may not have, but still many of us have the experience of going to a theater. So the moment we enter into the theater, so external world is completely off. That is, it's covered. It's thrown into a particular area. Then it is covered by a particular conditionings, just like a screen. Whatever comes on the screen, we keep on identifying with that screen. So like that energy, the throwing influence, energy throws the living entity into the darkness of ignorance. And by covering influence, she covers the eyes of man possessing a poor fund of knowledge about the existence of Supreme Person, who enlightened the Supreme Individual in Brahma. It covers all the knowledge about the external world, just like when the moment we go into theater, we are not aware of external things, what is happening outside, whether it's raining, it's hot, or external things, what is happening outside of the theater. We don't understand, because we are completely absorbed in the whatever is going on the screen. So that's how then we forget about the external world in terms of in relation to theater. So similarly here, the moment we are absorbed here in this material world, we completely forgot about the Supreme Lord, poor fund of knowledge. Then we even don't accept the existence of Supreme Lord to the topmost, at the peak point. Some people even don't even agree for the existence of Supreme Lord by the potency of covering Avaranatmaka Shakti. So these are the main workings of illusory energy, how they throw the living entity and how they cover based on our desires itself. Okay, then Prabhupada explains about how one can come out. Of course, he explains more details, how demonic personalities are covered by these both coverings, and how a sane man, intelligent man, who is coming in parampara, they will understand about the real relationship between the Jiva, Jagat, and Jagadish. He is quoting the famous verse. This is also Chatushloki of Bhagavad Gita. We are reading Chatushloki of Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhupada is quoting from Chatushloki of Bhagavad Gita. Aham sarvasya prabho matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitah. Please read the highlight portion.
The same man who knows this is actually learned, and therefore he becomes a pure devotee of the Lord, engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord.
Continue.
Okay, sane man sees through knowledge. Although the reflective energy of the Lord displays various illusions to the eyes of persons with a poor fund of knowledge, the sane person knows clearly that the Lord can act even from far, far beyond our vision by his different energies, just as fire can diffuse heat and light from a distant place.
So here the person who is in knowledge, how to gain knowledge, we discussed how we need to approach personality. That will be explained in the fourth verse of Chatushloki. But the sane man sees through knowledge. So knowledge is the crucial factor we need to gain. to understand things as they are. Just like a lamp. In lamp only, while there is light only, we can see things as they are. Prabhupada quoting Ayurveda to show that how existence of Supreme Lord. He is bringing some Ayurvedic verses where it is said about how the Supreme Lord is present in the body. Seeing through knowledge, basically. That point is mentioned here. How Supreme Lord is present within us. Please read the highlight portion, underline portion.
No one can make a solution of the darkness of ignorance.
The top one also.
Sorry, Prabhuji. Therefore, the living energy represented by the living entities is the reflection of the Lord and never the Lord himself. Being the reflection of the Lord, the existence of the living entity is dependent on the Supreme Lord, who is the original light. This material energy may be compared to darkness as actually it is darkness, and the activities of the living entities in the darkness are reflections of the original light.
Here maybe Prabhupada using quite a analogy, reflection, light. So don't get confused. So here just the Prabhupada using reflection of the Lord, sun and sun rays. The sun rays are living entities. Sun is the Supreme Lord. And the material energy itself is darkness. So being the reflection of the Lord, the existence of the living entity is dependent on the Supreme Lord. Because we are all the rays of the sun. So we are dependent on the sun. We are part and parcel of the sun. So, but otherwise, if, on the other hand, if you are just trying to be identifying with the matter, then we are covered by the clouds. The light is covered by the clouds. So that is the point Prabhupada mentioning here. How we can be trying to disconnected from the Lord because of the cloud of ignorance. Clouds, because of the clouds. Take the help of sun, not the glowworm light. Here Prabhupada explains more about how we can get rid of the ignorance by taking help of the sun, in the sense by taking shelter of the sun, shelter of the Supreme Lord, trying to identify with the Supreme Lord, not with those people who are trying to be Supreme Lord themselves. So they are compared to glowworm lights. Like these people are Gyanis and Karmis, especially Gyanis, those who are claiming themselves to be God. Don't take shelter of them. That's what Prabhupada's main point here. Please read.
No one can make a solution of the darkness of ignorance simply by the reflection of light. Similarly, no one can come out of material existence simply by the reflected light of the common man. One has to receive the light from the original light itself.
Continue.
The highlighted, okay, the reflection of sunlight in the darkness is unable to drive out the darkness, but the sunlight outside the reflection can drive out the darkness completely. In darkness, no one can see the things in a room. Therefore, a person in the dark is afraid of snakes and scorpions, although there may not be such things. But in the light, the things in the room can be clearly seen, and the fear of snakes and scorpions is at once removed. Therefore, one has to take shelter of the light of the Lord, as in the Bhagavad Gita or the Srimad Bhagavatam, and not the reflective personalities or reflective personalities who have no touch with the Lord. No one should hear the Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam from a person who does not believe in the existence of the Lord. Such a person is already doomed, and any association with such a doomed person makes the associator also doomed.
So let us approach the personality who can make the real connection between us and the Supreme Lord, and also who can show us the things of this world in connection with the Supreme Lord, so that we can engage everything we have or we possess in the service of the Lord, so that we are not caught up again and run the cycle of birth and death, samsara, the samsruti samsara. So that which is rotating again and again. So by approaching those personalities, we can understand things as they are and utilize everything in connection with the Supreme Lord. By that we can go back to Him and not get caught in here in the same samsara by taking shelter of personalities who are here Prabhupada mentioning as a what he is mentioning here, not the reflective light of such person who are also doomed, not the reflective personalities who have no touch with the Lord. So these are personalities who are not at all interested in the Lord, those who want to become the Lord themselves. From them we should not even hear or not associate with them. Who makes a disconnection between us and the Supreme Lord. So that's how Prabhupada is giving us a warning how we can make a progress in our spiritual life by connecting everything with the Lord, connecting everyone with the Lord, and by that we gain liberation from this material world. So please read this one.
Therefore,
Your
continue, Prabhupada.
here.
Therefore, the action of different energies of the Lord or the personality of Godhead Himself can be realized by the light manifested by the causeless mercy of the Lord. The impersonalists say that God cannot be seen. God can be seen by the light of God and not by man-made speculations. Here, this light is specifically mentioned as Vidyut, which is an order by the Lord to Brahma. This direct order of the Lord is manifestation of His internal energy, and this particular energy is the means of seeing the Lord face to face. Not only Brahma, but anyone who will be graced by the Lord to see such merciful direct internal energy can also realize the personality of Godhead without any mental speculation.
Yeah, this is Vidyat. Vidyat means by Vidya. By the what is the Vidya? Which is an order of the Lord to Brahma himself. Vidyatma, so that Vidya, one can understand everything in connection with the Lord. Tad Vidyat Atmano Maya. Vidyatam et pratiyeta na pratiyeta chatmani tad Vidyat Atmano Maya Nathama. So by seeing everything in connection with the Lord, we can see things as they are. But if we don't see any connection, if we lose the connection and keep ourselves in the center, then everything becomes illusory. The illusory energy acts immediately. Then we will see everything as illusion. Or the body or the material world itself acts like illusion. So that's the main point here. That's what Prabhupada explains. Now this verse completes. Let us see the Prabhupada explanation in Chaitanya Charitamrita. We will complete this verse here. We will just read the highlighted portion. The same verse. Now please read translation.
O Brahma, text 35.
Oh, okay, sorry, wait. I think I didn't share with you. You share. Yeah, now you can see. Are you able to see? Yeah.
संबंध ज्ञान ओके प्रभु जी ऊपर वाला पढ़ना
No problem. I can read it from here.
okay संबंध ज्ञान understanding means both anvaya and vitrika. In the previous verse, the absolute truth and its nature have been explained. One must also understand the relative truth. So, relative truth to actually know the absolute, the relative truth, which is called Maya or material nature, is also explained here.
Exactly. Yeah. So as Prabhupada is mentioning, Hridayardham Pratiyeta, the same verse is giving a explanation here in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So previous verse is explained the absolute truth. One must also understand the relative truth to actually know the absolute. As we discussed that both Anvaya and Vyatireka, the example of milk. So we need to understand what are the characteristics of the milk and what are the not characteristics of the cow's milk. So that's how we can understand completely the absolute truth. So here the relative truth is explained, the energies of the Lord. Atmano Mayam. What is Atmano Mayam? What is my energy? Prabhupada explains here. That means that he is supervising everything. Maya Dakshena Prapadim Suyate Sarachara. The mental nature is working and producing moving and non-moving beings only by the supervision of Krishna. Atmano Mayam. This is my energy. The relation is shown in this word. Atmano Mayam. Tat Vidyad. You should know. You must know. Vidyat. You must know that Atmano Mayam. This is my Maya. That's what Prabhupada is mentioning here. Atmano Mayam. Maya Dakshina Prakriti. He put it for that one. This is my energy. Then how to have real understanding of related to now how to understand this. Then Prabhupada is saying the real nature of Maya, illusion existence of the material manifestation. He's saying about Srimad Bhagavatam explains the nature of Maya. What is explained? The absolute truth is substance, and the relative truth is depends upon its relationship with the absolute for its existence. So Vedyam Vastavam Atra Vastu Shivatam, the second verse of first canto, first chapter, explains how absolute truth is substance, the Vastava Vastu. That is there, that is mentioned Prabhupada here mentioning. And that is Vastava Vastu is a real substance. And the relative truth is depends upon it. Basically, Bhakti Yogena Manasi Samyak Pranahiti Amale Apashyat Purusham Purnam Mayam Tat Tapashrayam Mayam Tat Apashrayam. Ashraya means it took shelter. Mayam, the Maya Devi or Maya Shakti, energy of the Lord. Relative truth, what is explained here, is under the shelter of the Lord. That's what Prabhupada is trying to convey the point here. The absolute truth can be compared to sun, which is appreciated in terms of two relative truths, reflection and darkness. Here, Prabhupada mentioning in terms of two ways of manifesting Maya, manifest how in these two different phases, right? Reflection and darkness. Just like reflection means, now you see the sun is there on top in the sky, but we can see the sun if we have a mirror or if we have a pot with water, then we see the reflection, right? That is different. Darkness is different. Both are dependent on sun only. They are not independent of the sun, but they are two different manifestations of the sun, two relative truths, as Prabhupada mentions here. So the reflection and darkness. Darkness is when the moment, Prabhupada explains. Let us read. Please read this one. First point and second point.
The absence of sunshine and a reflection is the
Your voice is very slow. Very low, sorry.
darkness.
The absolute truth can be compared to the sun, which is appreciated in terms of two relative truths, reflection and darkness. Number one, darkness is the absence of sunshine, and a reflection is a projection of sunlight into darkness. Neither darkness nor reflection has an independent existence. Number two, darkness comes when the sunshine is blocked. For example, if one stands facing the sun, his back will be in darkness. Since darkness stands in the absence of the sun, it is therefore relative to the sun. The spiritual world is compared to the real sunshine, and the material world is compared to the dark regions where the sun is not visible.
Yeah.
Third point.
Yeah. 1 minute. So now the living entity, when it turns away from the real sunshine or from the spiritual world, then it sees the darkness. Darkness is the material world, what Prabhupada is bringing out here. So in the darkness, we cannot actually see the relation between the real sun. I mean, we cannot access the sun itself because we turned away from the sun. We see only darkness. So that is, but definitely it has to depend upon the sun only. There is a connection between darkness and the sunshine. That's what Prabhupada is mentioning here. What I wrote is of course, the comment that there is a famous story in Einstein classroom also in the Einstein life, where he is a teacher. One of his teacher one day he mentioning about how there is a lot of evil presence in the world, which means because God is all merciful. If God is all merciful, then how evil can exist? If evil is existing, means that there is no God. That's what the main conception of the teacher, and he is explaining to the students. Then Einstein got up and he made some few logical points. Sir, dear sir, can you say there is no heat? Then he asked about the cold and heat. Is comparing Einstein as a boy, as a student. What do you call as a cold? Is just absence of the heat. What you call darkness is just absence of the sun. Similarly, what you call evil is simply absence of God. So that's how he, of course, there was a big kind of lengthy argument. Then he proved it, how unless you see it, unless you touch it, unless you experience it, you cannot scientifically prove then the thing is not existing. That's what the class teacher's main point. Then student says that, sir, we cannot see your brain nor intelligence. We cannot see it physically. We cannot perceive it. We cannot smell it. Can we conclude that you don't have brain? So like that, he proves the point that how the absence of the presence of darkness is simply because lack of sunshine. The same point here that the moment we are observing the darkness means we are turned away from the sun, the Supreme Lord. So, but there is a correlation between these two. That point is need to understand. Yeah, then he explains a beautiful point. Second point is the reflection. Yeah, please read this one. Third point.
When the material manifestation appears very
When the material
this is due to a perverted reflection of the supreme sunshine, the absolute truth, as confirmed in the Vedanta Sutra. Whatever one can see here has its substance in the absolute. As darkness is situated far away from the sun, so the material world is also far away from the spiritual world. The Vedic literature directs us not to be captivated by the dark regions, tama, but to try to reach the shining regions of the absolute, yoga dham.
So when the material manifestation appears very wonderful, this is due to a perverted reflection of the Supreme Sunshine. So the moment we see a reflection, just like we see the sun reflection in the pot, we see some characteristics of the sun. There will be little shine will be there definitely. Even if it is shining from the pot down, though there may not be so much of light, but there will be still some shining will be there even in the pot. So some characteristics are seen, some light is seen, some shining is seen in the pot, reflection is seen. So whatever is appearing in the material world is just reflection. As Prabhupada many times quotes that 15.1 Gita, Urdhumulam Adhashakam Ashwadham Prahurabhyayam. So it's just reflection of the real world. What is this material world? So whatever we are seeing, we also experience. There is a Prabhupada many times explains the whatever we are charming. Even Krishna also in the 6th chapter ending, he says, whatever you see, wonderful things are just a fraction of my reflection only. Srimat Purjitameva. So whatever beauty, whatever strength, whatever knowledge, whatever anything that is opulent and grandeur is simply a reflection of Krishna. So the world is pointing to Krishna, but we are missing the point of Krishna. His Chaitanya Chandru mentions one statement like that. The world points to Krishna, means that there are so much of wherever we see the wonderful things in the world, it has so many wonderful things are there. The sun, moon, the wind, the rain. Though they appears to be very normal for the conditioned eye, but they are so glorious, so wonderful, that people very much charmed by sunset and sunshine when they go to very hilly area or the ocean, near oceans, near especially some specific areas like a Konark, etc., where we can see the sunshine or sunset, sunrise in the ocean. So they are wonderful things, but they appear to be very normal for us, but they are very, very, very amazing things if we try to analyze all these wonderful things. Even our body, everything that is existing, that has a how they are working, how things are working is very amazing. So they are just reflection of the Lord. That's the main point Prabhupada mentioning. So the world is pointing to Krishna, but we are just caught up by seeing those wonderful things and not seeing the connection with Krishna. Then we get caught. The moment we see disconnected from Krishna and trying to enjoy ourselves, then it will make us entangled here. One beautiful small kind of anecdote His Holiness Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj shared with us in one of the class. There was a village. So in the village, one man was walking by, and he saw a big building, and there were a lot of trees in the building, inside the courtyard of the building. And he saw there was a mango tree also. Now the mango season is coming, summer is coming, so the mangoes are coming up, and the mangoes are very laden on the tree, and they're full of mangoes, and they're almost coming to the ripened stage. The moment he saw, oh, mango is there, wonderful. But immediately he saw the owner on the top of the bungalow, and immediately he composed himself and just walked by. After going some distance apart after the village, and again one more mango tree he saw. So same, because mango season, the mangoes are there on the tree. Now, no, he saw here and there, no one is there to catch him or to observe him. So he immediately took one mango. He climbed the tree and get the mangoes and trying to enjoy the mangoes. So he explained that this is the nature of the living entity, or the conception of the material world. How we are living entities, trying to, if we can see the connection between the energy and the energetic, or the owner of the estate or owner of the person, then one is fearful. Oh, I cannot enjoy myself. I need to take permission, or I need to at least do something with the owner. If we don't see any personality, then we may try to enjoy ourselves, just like in that garden. which is not at all protected or secured by anyone else. So he thought, I am the enjoyer, no one is here. So that's the nature of the living entity. The moment we don't see any connection or any presence of the personality, then we may try to have that kind of feelings that I am the enjoyer here. That's the nature of the living entity. That's what Maharaj concluded with the point that so we need to see the relation between things of this world and to the Lord. Then we can come to senses how we cannot enjoy separately from the Lord, but we can only enjoy in connection with the Lord. Then Prabhupada explains how difference between spiritual world and the material world, the illumination and the illusion, both. And he concludes here. Please read.
The living entities
Continue.
are called illusory in this context because they are illusory structures and activities of the material world. Actually, the living entities are not illusory, for they are parts of the superior Maya. If they do not want to
Your voice is breaking. I don't know about others, how they are able to hear.
be so, the actions of the living
Is it audible for others?
Not able to hear.
No, Prabhuji, it's breaking.
Not audible.
Maybe other
Breaking.
devotee can read.
Is the living entity also an
the
illusion?
actions of the living entities in the
No, Mataji.
If the living entity is also an illusion being in this illusory world, that which is relative, temporary, and far away from the absolute truth is called Maya or ignorance. This illusion is exhibited in two ways, as explained in the Bhagavad Gita. The inferior illusion is inert matter, and the superior illusion is the living entity. The living entities are called illusory in this context only because they are implicated in the illusory structures and activities of the material world. Actually, the living entities are not illusory, for they are parts and parcels of the superior energy of the Supreme Lord and do not have to be covered by Maya if they do not want to be so. The actions of the living entities in the spiritual kingdom are not illusory, they are the actual eternal activities of liberated souls.
So by this understanding how Prabhupada making the fact that Jagat, Jiva and Jagadish are all facts. They are not illusion in themselves. But if we don't see the connection, especially when we see from the Jiva point of view, if he is not seeing the Jagat and Jagadish connection, then there will be illusion. Then the illusory energy acts on us, makes us think that this is for my enjoyment, the Jagat. Then that is called illusion. Trying to enjoy the Jagat, not in connection with Krishna, separately, independently from Krishna, then that is illusion. In that illusion, we'll get caught and we'll be suffering. Instead of that, then the moment we again, with the right consciousness and right conception and with right conclusion, when we try to engage everything in the service of the Lord, knowing that connection with the Lord, that will make us get rid of this, the illusory energy, Maya. So that is the main point of this verse. Prabhupada explained here in a beautiful analogies also here. Okay, this comes to a conclusion of the second verse, Pratiyartham yat pratiyeta. The Vijnana part is explained here. Now, the Sambandha is our both Sambandha in terms of his own form and his own energies, how they are working, is explained in this verse. So we will just see the next verse about the Rahasyam, the Rahasyam part, the devotional service, the Prema Bhakti. The third question, how you play with your energies, that is explained here in this 55 or 34, 35 in the Bhagavatam section. Yata mahanti bhutani bhuteshu chavasheshvanu pravishtanya pravishtani yata teshu natveshvaham.
As the material elements enter the bodies of shall I continue?
Continue.
As the material elements enter the bodies of all living beings and yet remain outside them all, I exist within all material creations and yet am not within them.
So he is giving answer in a way that just like matter, he giving analogy also here. One analogy he gave, and he is explaining how he is existing both inside and outside the material world. As the material elements enter into bodies, like 5 elements especially, all the elements, 8 elements, how they are within our body also and apart from our body also they are existing. Similarly, Supreme Lord exists in the material world and beyond same time. That is the mystery. That is the mystery of the Supreme Lord. Please read the highlight portion.
Without his presence within the material world, the cosmic body could not develop. Just as without the presence of the spirit within the physical body, the body could not develop.
Just like our body, if the soul is not present, if the soul is not present in the body, then the body will not grow. Basically, body will be dead. Similarly, when the Supreme Lord is not present, when he doesn't enter into the material world, but not material world, basically in the Garbhoda Sai, only after entering as a Garbhoda Sai Vishnu, then things starts manifesting. So without his presence within the material world, the cosmic body could not develop. So he is comparing. So he has to enter. He has to enter into every atom also, he is present. Andantarastha Paramanu Chayantarastham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajam. Prabhupada quotes later part of the section. So please read this one.
His existence the personality of God in his all-pervading feature of Paramatma enters every entity from the biggest to most minute. His existence can be realized by one who has the single qualification of submissiveness and who thereby becomes a surrender soul. The development of submissiveness is the cause of proportionate spiritual realization, by which one can ultimately meet the Supreme Lord in person as a man meets another man face to face. This is one of the mysteries of the devotion relationship, in which a devotee and the Lord are bound by a tie of spontaneous love. To achieve this love should be the goal of life for every living being.
So he is come to the conclusion where he's saying he's actually mentioning about how by submissiveness and by service attitude, proportionate spiritual realization will happen. Though he is present everywhere, in everything, but we cannot realize him. His existence can be realized by one who has the single qualification of submissiveness and who thereby becomes a surrendered soul. But though he is present everywhere, but how to realize him, that Prabhupada is giving the explanation. And of course, in the next verse, in the next section, next pair also, he is saying this is the mystery of devotional relationship of devotee. By his submissiveness and by his surrender, he is trying to develop the original love that is existing between the Supreme Lord and a living entity. And to achieve that love should be the goal of life of every living being. Prabhupada explains one or two slokas of how about Radha and Krishna and their leelas in Vrindavan, how everyone should be engaged in the service of the Lord, how they are existing eternally in Vrindavan. That should be the goal of life. That's what Prabhupada explaining in this para. Because the Rahasyam part, Though from the verse we don't understand how it is showing as rahasyam, how it is explaining about love. But Acharya has explained that this is the nature of the devotee. He sees the Lord wherever he is. Premanjana charati bhakti viravachanena. So that by that love they are able to perceive the Supreme Lord everywhere. So that will be explained in the same verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam verses, from Bhagavatam commentary. Prabhupada explained here. In the same thing, I just showed in the CCs because he just in a concise form he wrote there in CC in a short form. But in Bhagavatam there is a big commentary is there. Maybe in the tomorrow's section, tomorrow's class we will discuss more on this topic. But that is the main point, to develop the relationship that we had with Krishna. That needs to be developed. That love has to be revived by practicing devotional service. Just like the analogy is given, how the elements are entered into cosmos. At the same time, he is beyond. They are beyond. They are also existing in their original state. Similarly, Krishna also. I myself also exist within everything created. At the same time, I am outside of everything. So, then by stating these statements, by this concept, Krishna is showing that you need to understand me. You need to develop the relationship of love, which is natural for the living entity. That is the main point of this verse. Okay, I think it's already 4:25. Maybe tomorrow we will start this verse explanation. These are the main point of this verse. That this is the rahasyam part, where Krishna starts explaining how you need to perceive me, how you can realize me. Till now he explained his own form in the first verse about his absolute truth, nature of the form and existence. And then he explained about his energies in the second verse, how the energies are acting, are manifesting, are working. Now in the third verse, how he plays with his energies. That's what the main question. And he's answering here how he's playing with his energies. Just by entering in them, at the same time, he's beyond all those the material world, existing in the spiritual world. So that's how he keeps on playing with those energies. That is concluded as the in terms of devotees. The Acharya explains that he plays with pastimes with material energy in terms of creation, with devotees in terms of his leelas. So that's how he plays with these two energies. By entering into all the elements, he's playing with this material energy, and by doing leelas with all the devotees, he's playing with his internal energies. So okay, we'll discuss tomorrow about this part. Okay, if you have any, I don't know, it may be becoming too technical, but you have to bear with me for some time, maybe for tomorrow. So this section will be tomorrow. We'll mostly will complete Shloki, and then we will complete the chapter. Okay, if you have any questions. Pardon?
Which chapter these CC verses 54 and 55?
This is CC Adi 1.56.
Okay, thank you.
Adi Lila 1.56. There Prabhupada gives the summary. Yeah. The 56 is the last verse. I think 53, 54, 55, and 56.
Okay.
Yeah, like Adi 1 point. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
Prabhuji, one question.
Please.
Prabhuji, that Prabhupada says, right, when living entity thinks I am supreme, that is the last snare of Maya. So whether after that Maya does not snare, or whether one becomes pure devotee after that, or whether everybody has to go through this last snare of Maya.
The last snare of Maya in the sense is a negative term, negative sense is quoting. The last snare in the sense is covered so much. These people are covered so much that they keep on thinking, I am the boss of my village, I am the boss of my country, I am the boss of my universe. These are kind of coverings one by one. And the last covering is that I am the God. That kind of sense. The last snare of Maya. Maya is making him so much covered with many other things also, so many things. You understand the concept Prabhupada is mentioning. Last snare of Maya, in the sense, snare is a negative term. It's kind of illusion. It's like a spell. Last snare of Maya. Maya is putting so many illusions, spells on living entities. Oh, you enjoy like this. Oh, you are a king. Oh, you are a man. You are a human. You are the CM. You are the PM. You are that. You are this. So these are all different snares of Maya, making us think whatever we are thinking. I am a dog. I am a whatever. And then we are trying to enjoy. And Maya is the last snare is that, Arey, you are God. Hey, you should be God. Why you are thinking you are servant? No, you are God. So that is called last snare of Maya. Then by that, that is last snare in the sense that this is to the extent Maya can spell. So that is the last snare of Maya. Hope you are getting the context.
Yes, bro. Yes, bro. Thanks so much.
Yeah. In that sense, Prabhupada is using that last snare of Maya in the sense this last spell of Maya. Maya is making so many tricks on the living entity. And the living entity is he is a Jnani. He could give up all the material things. He understands this is illusion. Mayavadis understands that this is illusion. I cannot enjoy this material world. He's away from all these things. But still he get caught in that last spell of Maya that, hey, you are God. Then he is getting caught there. So in that sense, Prabhupada is using last snare of Maya. Yes, Prabhuji. Madan Mohan Prabhu.
Thank you, bro.
Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, it is always said that in the darkness we think we take rope as a snake, which is because of illusion. But my question is, if by a speculation we may think that it is maybe dead snake or maybe snake one place. It may be. I would not know how to understand actually as things as they are.
Yeah, just switch on the light. The rope in the night, as Prabhupada mentioning the rope, we think it as a snake, then the fear aspect comes. There are 2 points Prabhupada is bringing out from that analogy. One is that from the Mayavadic point of view, they say that the rope and the snake both are illusion. Now, Prabhupada mentioned that because you are thinking of snake, that means existence of the snake is a fact, and existence of the rope is also a fact. That is one point of the analogy. That means material world is a fact, and the Supreme Lord is a fact. Both are facts. But unless we see the connection, then we think that it's for my enjoyment. That is called illusion. Then we will suffer. Then we start fearing and suffering. These are all because we don't see the connection between the world and the Supreme Lord. So the rope and snake analogy is shown to understand that we cannot enjoy the world separate from the Lord. So the rope in the night we are seeing the rope as snake. That is the main point as per analogy. In order to see as they are means we have to bring the light. Bring the light means we gain knowledge through acharyas. When we start hearing, okay, this world is not for my enjoyment. This world is related to Krishna. I am also related to Krishna. Jiva and Jagat have a relationship with Krishna, Jagadish, and I am also supposed to be engaged in Krishna service, and I should also engage everything in Krishna service. Then that will have a. Then there is no fear. Then there is no any kind of bondage. Hope this making some sense.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yes. Yes, Mataji, do you have a question?
Prabhuji, if the Mayavadis are means in the last snare of Maya, so that means they are very advanced, but just one step away from becoming devotees.
Yeah, in one sense, surely, in one sense, they have the great detachment from the world. Even even few disciples of Srila Prabhupada also were very advanced in terms of spiritual practices. They were Mayavadis, but they came in touch with Prabhupada. They were sannyasis, in fact. They were in fact sannyasis. But when they saw Prabhupada and when they saw his practice, and they understood this is the final path. So they surrendered to Prabhupada and they took initiation from Prabhupada. There are three, four people who were on that stage and they would came in touch with Srila Prabhupada. And yes, that can be, if they are sincere, if they are very much open, and they are not stubborn to the idea that I am God. If they are open to understand, definitely by association of devotees, they can take up spiritual life. Yes, they have extra advantage. Extra advantage, I mean, in the sense that they have because they are already very much detached from the world. Now they are immediately trying to develop a attachment to Krishna. Sure. Hope it's making some sense.
Yes,
Thank you. Okay, thank you so much for your patient hearing and enthusiastic participation. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
I
Thank
take
you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna devotees. There is update regarding CB and OBM marks. So corrections are happening even though slow, and marks have come. And there was one portal created. There's one portal created by BVRV, using which you can directly see your marks. So tomorrow I am planning to do a demo of that portal. So like I logged in through that portal, but I was unable to see marks. Then I called them. They said you have to update your details, update your profile, which may take like 5-10 minutes. So we want 10-15 minutes tomorrow. So should we do it before the class or after the class, so that like we don't have to, if we do it together, then like everybody will be able to see their marks and they'll not have any issue in logging in or anything. So one option is 2:15 to 2:30 or 4:30 to 4:45.
Before we'll do first.
प्रभुजी आधो का पहले का तो आधो का बाद में।
नहीं मुझे कुछ सबको अपना अपना करना है, मैं बस अपना
अच्छा,
स्क्रीन
सबको अपना करना है।
दिखाऊंगा, सबका एक साथ ही होगा, मतलब
क्लास
इट्स
के
नॉट
बाद कर लेते हैं यार।
Before 2:15 to 2:30.
Before is okay, Prabhuji.
Before is okay.
fine. Then we will more votes for before, I guess. So we will do it before the class. So please join it. I'll put it in the group also. Please join at 2:15 p.m. And I hope, I saw one message also that some site, some link was not working. I hope it's not our in BVRV like coordinators group, but I hope it's not related to this, and we will be able to see your marks. Okay, so we can join at 2:15 and I'll share how you can log into the portal, update profile, and then see marks. Thank you, Vaishnavas.
And
Prabhuji,
please submit your OBS. Don't take wrong examples. I am one of the wrong example. Take inspiration from wonderful Vaishnavas who are completing on time. And please do complete, because Prabhuji sent me that message that we cannot continue the course from Canton 3 if so many OBS are pending. So please take out some more time for that.
प्रभु जी नेक्स्ट वीक तक पूरे कर देंगे सारे.
That's the spirit. Hari Bol.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम. प्रभु
हरे
जी,
कृष्ण.
आज जो श्लोका टेस्ट होने वाला है, मतलब वो कल हो सकता है क्या? आई एम जस्ट आस्किंग बिकॉज somehow I'm not prepared प्रभु जी, honestly. मतलब कुछ भी नहीं आएगा तो मतलब दे सकते हैं, ऐसा नहीं 2 घंटे में भी जितना होगा उतना, बट स्टिल जस्ट रिक्वेस्ट, अगर पॉसिबल है तो उनके सामने जाने के पहले ही अगर उनको प्रॉब्लम पता चल गया तो अच्छा, नहीं तो उनके सामने प्रॉब्लम बतानी पड़ेगी कि प्रभु जी नहीं हो रहा है तो आप कुछ तो एडजस्ट कीजिए, ऐसा, मतलब टू बी वेरी फ्रैंक.
1 second.